Fine. The question here is, express the following as a sum of two consecutive integers. First is, let us do the first one. I'm sure second one you can do on your own. 33 square. Now remember that property of square numbers, that any square number can be expressed as a sum of two consecutive natural numbers, right? So 33 square similarly can be expressed as a sum of two consecutive natural numbers. How can they be expressed? First of all, we find out the square of 33. And how do we find out the square of 33? If you remember the method, first we square uh, 3 to get 9. First we square this 3 to get 9. Okay. And then you multiply the two digits, 33 into 3, 9. Double of the digits, 18. So you write an 8. And 1 is carry. Okay. Then you square the 10th digit, 3 square. And you add the carry, 1, which is 10. So 33 square is 1089. So what are the numbers? The consecutive natural numbers are 1089 minus 1 divided by 2 and 1089 plus 1 divided by 2, which is 1088 divided by 2 and 1090 divided by 2, which are 544 and 545. Hence 1089 has been expressed as sum of 544 and 545. Okay, 47 square you can do similarly on your own. The next question is, find a Pythagorean triplet whose one number is 15. So I'll do one and the other you can do on your own. One number is 15. There are two parts. I'll do the second part, this one, 63. Find a Pythagorean triplet whose one number is 63. Okay, so 3, 2. This was your 2, 1. Okay, 3, 2. Find a Pythagorean triplet whose one number is 63. So any Pythagorean triplet is of the form is of the form 2m, m square minus 1 and m square plus 1. Any Pythagorean triplet must be of this form. Now the question here is, find a Pythagorean triplet whose one number, that is one of these numbers, is 63. That means 63 can be any of these three numbers. Either 2m can be 63, or m square minus 1 can be 63, or m square plus 1 can be 63. So we consider the first case. Case 1. When 2m is equal to 63. So what happens? Therefore, 2m is equal to 63 means m is equal to 63 by 2. Is this acceptable? No, this is not acceptable, because m is a natural number, but m must be a natural number. Therefore, case 1 is rejected. Okay. Next we try. So this is your case 1. Case 2. When m square minus 1 is equal to 63. So therefore, m square minus 1 is equal to 63 means m square is equal to 63 plus 1. That means m square is equal to 64. That means m must be equal to square root of 64, which is equal to 8. Now, is this acceptable? Yes, it is acceptable because m is a natural number. So therefore, in this case, what the value of m that we are getting is 8. So therefore, what are the other numbers? In this case, we have taken m square minus 1 is equal to, this one we have taken 63. So what will the value of this 2m? We find out the value. Therefore, 2m is equal to 2 into 8, which is equal to 16. And m square minus 1, the second number in the triplet, we already know. This number we already have taken it to be 63. And what about m square plus 1? Is equal to 8 square plus 1, which is equal to 64 plus 1, which is equal to 65. Therefore, the required triplet is 2m. 2m is what? 16. So first one will be 16. M square minus 1, second number in the triplet, we have taken as 63. So this will be 63. And m square plus 1, the third number in the triplet, we have got it as 65. So this is the triplet. But we also look at case 3. Case 3. Although we have got the triplet, but we still look at case 3 whether we can find another triplet. Okay, so when m square plus 1 is equal to 63. So therefore, m square plus 1 is equal to 63 means m square is equal to 63 minus 1. That means m square is equal to 62. That means m is equal to square root 62, which is not possible because m is a natural number, but m must be a natural number. Therefore, case 3 is rejected. Any problem in this? Any problem here?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
So if you don't have any problem with this, I'm sure you can do the first one, 15 also. Find a Pythagorean triplet whose one number is 15. So that brings us to an end of the assignment questions. Let us now move on to the second part, which is your square root. What do you mean by square root of a number? Okay. What do you mean by the square root of a number? Now, the square root of a number is another number which when multiplied by itself will give you the original number. So for example, if you have, and let us take a number 16. So this is your original number. Okay. And we have a number 4. Okay. This number 4, when multiplied by itself, will give us the original number. So then this number is called the square root. And you know this number is called what? This number is called the square root of 16. And what is this number called? Which you already know. This is called the square number. Square of 4. Am I correct or not? If you take any number If you take any number, okay, say 16 if I take, and if I take another number, say 4, and when I'm multiplying this number by itself, I'm getting this number 16. Then this number will be called the square root of 16, and this number will be called the square of 4. So in general, let us take another example for them. So let us take 64. So let us say this is my original number. Okay, I take another number 8, and I multiply 8 by itself. I get the original number. Okay, then this 8 is called the square root of 64, and this is called the square of 8. Oh, okay, or the square number of 8, whatever. So in general, what you see is 4 into 4 is equal to 16. 8 into 8 is equal to 64. For these two examples, say you have 4 square must be equal to 16, and you have 8 square is equal to 64. So in general, what can I write? If I want to find out the square root of a number n, the square root of a number n, this is my square number, whose square root I need to find out. Okay, and if I want the square number, and suppose that if the square root of this number is m, then m square must be equal to n. Now compare with this. Compare this with these two. This one, and you compare this with this one. Okay, so m here is called the, here m is called the square root of n, and it is written as m is equal to square root n. Understood? So given, if I give you m square equal to n, then you can write this as m is equal to square root n. If I give you m is equal to root n, then you can write this as m square equal to n. Both ways it works. Given this, I can write this. Given this, I can write this. So any questions here?
No, sir.
So let us move on. An example here. Find the square root of 64 by successive subtraction. Let us take this number 64. By successive subtraction. Remember, I told you that any natural number, any square number, in fact, not natural number, any square number can be expressed as a sum of odd numbers, right? Any square number. So what I do here is I keep subtracting 1, the successive odd numbers. So I get here 64. Next odd number is 2. Give me 61. Next is, you give me 58. Next is 5. No, this is not, 2 is not an odd number, sorry. 3. So this will give you 60. This will become 60. 60 minus 5, this is 55. And then 55. 55 minus 7 will give you 48. 48 minus 9 will give you 39. 39 minus 11 will give you a what, 28. 28 minus 13 will give you a 15. 15 minus 15 will give you a 0. So we have come to this 0, which obviously means 64 must be a square number. Okay. So therefore, what can I write 64 as? 64 can now be written as a sum of these odd numbers. 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7, 9, all these odd numbers, all these. Right from 1 till 15. Okay. So 9 plus 11 plus 13 plus 15. Now, if you remember, I told you, now I gave you one sum related to this. I told you that without, I don't, I don't remember discussing this sum, but anyway, but the point here is that even without adding up these odd numbers, we can still find out what the sum is. What is the sum of all this? This should be, how many odd numbers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So there are 8 odd numbers. There are 8 numbers here. All these. Okay, there are 8 numbers. So 64 can be written as 8 square. Now if 64 is 8 square, that means what can you write? In square root notation, what can you write? You need to find out the square root of 64, right? So therefore you can write square root of 64 must be equal to 8. Because remember I told you, if m square is equal to n is given, then you can write this as m is equal to square root of n. So 64 is equal to 8 square means square root of 64 must be equal to 8. Any question here?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
So in order to add up odd
No,
numbers,
sir.
you simply need to see how many numbers are, how many odd numbers you are taking. Suppose if I give you this 1 plus 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, 25, 27, 29. I want you to find out the sum of this. How will you find out the sum? You simply count the number of odd numbers you have taken. How many numbers you have taken? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. You have taken 15 odd numbers whose sum you want to find out. So therefore, this must be equal to 15 square. Understood? It's as simple as that. Remember this rule. Very important. Next, we come to the methods of finding the square roots. What are the methods of finding the square roots? The method of finding the square roots are two, which we must know. One is the prime factorization method, okay, and the other is the division method. In fact, division method, this is a better method, okay, because in this way you can find out the square root of any number that is given to you. In fact, any number. But for the first one, prime factorization method, this one applies only to numbers that are perfect squares. Applies to numbers that are perfect squares. Okay. So prime factorization method, remember, applies only to numbers which are perfect squares. Suppose I give you a number 63. You cannot find out the square root of 63 by prime factorization method because 63 is not a perfect square. Okay. But by division method, you can find out the square root of 63. Understood? So prime factorization method has its limitations. So before I proceed, let me just erase this part. We start with the prime factorization method of finding out square roots. Okay. Now let us see an example. We'll see this method with the help of an example. The question here is find the square root of the following numbers by prime factorization method. Let us consider the first number 7056. Okay. So we have the given number as prime factorization method. Okay, given number is equal to 7056. We want to find out the square root of this number by prime factorization method. So what we do here is we prime factorize 7056. 528 1764 882 441. 441 is not divisible by 3. This will become 147. Again, this is divisible by 3, become 49. Now 49 is not divisible by 3, but it is divisible by 7. 7. So we have managed to prime factorize. We have managed to prime factorize 7056. So therefore, what is 7056? 7056 is taken pairs. Pairs of equal primes. 2 into 2. 2 into 2. 3 into 3. And 7 into 7. Okay. So therefore, this can now be written as 7056 is equal to, you can write this as 2 square into 2 square into 3 square into 7 square. Okay. Okay. So now this can be written as right. From indices we know, from exponents we know that this can be written in this manner. Right. So therefore, we have expressed this as, we have expressed 7056 as the power of 2. So therefore, what is the square root of 7056? It is the square root of 7 whole square. Now square root, and I have written this as a square. This is a perfect square. So therefore, the square root of this will be 2 into 2 into 3 into 7. Okay, which comes to 12 into 7, and 12 into 7 is 84. Any questions in this prime factorization method? Otherwise, I can move to
No,
the
sir.
next number.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Stop chatting. We take the next number, 61347. You want to find out the square root of 61347. Okay. In order to find out the square root of this, we first prime factorize 61347. Okay. So this number has to be divisible by 3. Let's check. Some of you know the divisibility test for 3. Do you know how to check whether a number is divisible by 3? It's a very simple test. See, you add up the digits. What is the sum of the digits? 6 plus 1, 7. 7 plus 3, 10. 10 plus 4, 14. 14 plus 7, 21. So 21, we are getting the sum of the digits. Is 21 a multiple of 3? Is 21 divisible by 3? Yes, it is divisible by 3. So therefore, this number must be divisible by 3. So divided by 3. 2, 0. I'll come to a divisibility test later on. Okay, but this divisibility by 3 is something that is very easy. You might have learned earlier also. 3, 2 and 0, and then 3, 4, 3, 4, and then you have 3, 9. Now again 20449, similarly you can check whether this is divisible by 3. Is this divisible by 3? 20449, 13, 17, 19. No, it is not. So which number have I taken? Oh, there's a small error here. The number must not be this number. Please cancel it in your notes also. Okay, this number will not be 61357. This number will be 122694. We want to find out the square root of this number. Okay, so please change it in your notes. Make a change in your notes. So we'll change it accordingly. Given number here is given number 122694. 122694. Okay, so prime factorizes. The first obvious divisor is 2. So this will give you 61347, and then this is again divisible by 3. 20449. Okay, and you try all the numbers. This one is not divisible by 3, neither by 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but it is divisible by 11. So 11 1, 11 8, and then you have 11 5, and then you have 11 9. Okay, again this is divisible by 11. So 11 1, 11, this is 6, and again this is a 9. So now what do you get? 169. 169 is divisible by 13. 13 into 13 is 169. So this will be divisible by 13. So prime factorized. So therefore 122694 has been expressed as I think there is a mistake here. Okay, this number is wrong. Okay, this number is wrong. So just cancel out this example. I will take another example. This number is itself wrong. This number that I have taken is wrong. Okay, I'll take another example. Let us take the example that we have done in our assignment. Let us take yes, let us take this one. 1784. Let us take this. One 1784. Just give me a minute. No, 1784 is not a perfect square. Let us take this 7396. Let us take this number. Prime factorize this number. 2, 3, 2, 6, 2, 9, 8. Again, it will go with 2, 2, 1, 2, 8, 2, 4, 2, 9. Okay, and is this divisible by uh, 1849? Now, is this divisible by 3? See the sum of the digits here, 13, 13 plus 8, 21, 22. This is not divisible by 3, neither by 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's check 7, whether it is divisible by 7. It is not divisible by 7 either. Okay. It is divisible by, is it divisible by 8? No. By 9? No. One 1849. It is divisible by 43. 43 into 43 is 1849. This is a tough one. But how do you check? I'll tell you how to check. So let me finish this. 7396 is, can be prime factorized as 2 into 2 into 43 into 43, which is nothing but 2 square into 43 square. 2 into 43 whole square. So therefore, square root of 7396 must be equal to square root of 2 into 43 square, which is equal to 2 into 43, which is equal to 86. Okay. Now see, here I have written this is divisible by 43. Can anyone tell me whether whether is there any particular way of you know finding the factor of 1849? There is one which you can guess. There is guesswork that you can do. It's actually not entirely a guesswork. It's a calculated guess. Now see, 1849. What is the last digit of this? 1849. What is the last digit of this? 9. That means whatever number that it should be the square of, the last number should be, the units digit should be 3 of that number, right? So therefore, I will try out 13 square. I will try out 23 square. I will try out 33 square. I'll try out 43 square, and 43 square I can get this as 1849. Okay, this is how you take a calculated guess. Okay, so I stop here for today.